Here's an article, CBS Texas. What Denton County luxury home development signals about North Texas real estate market. Specifically, a new luxury home development is coming to North Texas, and you won't find the 3+ million custom builds in Highland Park or Southlake, but in a small town in Denton County, and it's going to be in Bartonville. So near
Wait a
Argyle,
minute.
Montana.
That's
38
not.
luxury homes.
Oh my god, they call it Denton County. It's Bartonville.
It's on the edge.
Bartonville is like. It's like one percenters. Bartonville's like the reason no one's heard of it. Like, oh, it's Bartonville. Bartonville's like.
But that's not the point. The point is, let's think about it. From 35 West, when you get off at Justin Road, you can go west to Harvest, where it's regular family homes. They're not cheap, but that's not $1 million homes. Then you go the other way into Argyle, off the little side routes in the horse country and the custom builds, and you can easily spend $1.5, $2 million on a home in Argyle with land and a beautiful big home.
$250 an acre.
And then you get from Bartonville, you have
but
Bartonville, Double Oak, all of that is definitely 7-figure homes.
Bartonville, like when there's like bragging about news, or there's why even waste the article? Who's bringing that up? Going, oh, we're gonna have luxury homes, and I was like, all right, small group. And here's the other thing: they hate cyclists. They hate anyone who doesn't live there.
There you go. Because it's cyclists, you're getting extra ornery about it.
Listen. They literally have put up stop signs in places where stop signs shouldn't be normally.
Uh-oh. Hold on. A real estate agent is saying these homes are totally custom built homes, so people can go wild with what they want to do. Here's a real estate agent that's jockeying for the potential to be the person writing contracts on these homes.
Is there a commission breath at the bottom of this?
I don't know.
I get that's a luxury thing and it's a poshy thing, but that town doesn't like having people in it. They're writing tickets to people, putting stop signs up, going, we're just going to keep people from coming through here. They want them to go around.
Like Double Oak.
Exactly. They put things in there to keep people out. It wasn't, the stop signs aren't there to keep the cyclists out. It's to keep everybody out, because it would be so annoying to go through there that you don't want to go through there. Like, and we're talking about like politicians, athletes, and all these multi-million-dollar earners live in Bartonville, and there is a root of old time, like the people originally, right? There's a root of those people. I know some people, but I would say, I mean, it was a story years ago when they actually banned cycling from their city. They banned it.
Oh, wow.
And the rumor was that the mayor banned it, or the city council did, and the governor actually I might have been George Bush, because he was a cyclist at the time. He said, he calls him up and say, hey, you can't ban bikes from the road, because literally, you have no sidewalks. So that means your kids that ride bikes, anyone that means they can't ride. So they came back and they said, you can ride bikes here, but if you're it's either 8 or 10 of a group or more, has to have a permit. So you have to call ahead, apply for a permit. It's $25 to ride in a group. So what you do when you ride through that town, you have to split up. So if you're in a group of 30, you have to split up in 8-person groups within 10 cyclists deep. So now you're actually making it worse. So if you have 30 people together, now you have 8. Then you cut out 20 yards, 8 more, cut out 20 yards. Now nobody can drive anywhere, because that's the rule that they wanted.
But is that because cyclists hog the road?
There are some groups, but the ones that ride in groups of 30 are doing the speed limit there. The speed limit's 25.
I'm just saying that to see if I get a rise out of you.
Yeah,
I can't stick up.
I can't stick up for every cyclist, because there are some dumb ones, and I've ridden with some dumb ones. And what are you doing? And I may have made some dumb decisions.
Yeah.
What I'm just saying is what you're doing is you're legislating laws that prevent people from doing the things that people should do recreationally.
Yeah. It's just a vehicle anyway, right?
It's all it was to do is to keep people from coming in town. They don't want people there. For them to build a subdivision it tells me that they lack taxes. They want more money. They build these homes, they'll get $30,
Oh, yeah.
$40, $50,000 a year in taxes, and then they can fix the roads because they're having issues. Right now, you think they care about stop signs, like a $100 ticket, a $200 ticket?
No.
You're not making any money off of that.
Right.
Have you been through there? Like, they have some, go through Bartonville, drive through it, just in the, like,
Yeah.
that area, and you're like, they're not, there's no such thing. They don't even need school districts. They're
I'll
all
still
private
take
schools.
Colleyville over Bartonville.
Just by, I don't know, depend.
That's the established neighborhoods. You have the big trees next to
would.
the gorgeous
I mean,
homes.
I don't think I would
Okay,
really
here's
do
another
this.
part of the article. So Entris, what is that? North Texas Real Estate Information System or something like that. I probably got that all wrong, but it's something like that. Netris. In the past 90 days, it says 1,733 homes in the DFW area have sold in less than 10 days. Quote after that, so that says a lot because in the last 90 days, we've had record high interest rates, says this person from this person's real estate company. Obviously, the higher the rate, people can afford maybe not as much of a home. That's a quote. I didn't say that. That was a little awkward. However, it has not stopped the sales happening. Okay, well, we would need to know. I can just hear my stats professor from college saying, that's fine, we have a number here, but we have one data point. What was it in 2020? What was it pre-pandemic? With 1,733 homes
Also,
selling in
there's-
less than 10 days, is
There's
that
no
good
price
or bad?
point. Is that a $300,000 home or is that $1.3
Right,
million home?
yeah.
I mean, the average home price is what today?
So,
Like, talking
so
about, like,
it's the
September.
title is what Denton County luxury home development signals about North Texas real estate market.
That people
It's
with-
not a question mark or a period at the end of that. There's no punctuation, so it's just rhetorically stated. So if they're saying, like, what are they saying?
People
$3+
with money
million?
can buy, is what they're saying.
Yeah, people with money are looking for a place where they have land. You're not going to go to the Park Cities. You're not going to University Park or Highland Park because there's no room. You'd have to buy a multi-million-dollar home, raise it to the ground, and then build another home. Whereas out on Justin Road, out towards Justin, all of that, you have dirt that you can buy. And a developer obviously is figuring it out, and they're putting in the sewers and the sidewalks and all
This
of that.
article has nothing to do with the average person, and I don't think having $1 million pocketbook changes the fact that a $300,000 or $400,000 home is not moving.
Here's what I think. I think that's partially true. I also think that if you own a home in Flower Mound or an older part of Argyle or somewhere like that, Denton, where Denton kind of comes down, I forget the name of that road that turns into 2499. But if you own anywhere
Railstrap.
near, yeah, I mean, and I would say, okay, for Bartonville, probably out a little bit. If you own a regular home, maybe there's little ranches, 1,800 foot little ranches sitting on a couple acres. You could tell they were built in the 50s. That home now becomes much more valuable. So the regular person that owns real estate
Yes.
within a stone's throw of there,
But
the rising tide raises all boats is what I'm saying.
it pushes people out of their homes more than it's raising. It takes that someone who wants to be in a location with money, overpays, not to them, it's
Yeah,
overpaid.
because their property taxes go
It's
crazy.
like, I can't stay here.
Yeah.
And then they end up having to moving to outskirts as
Yep.
Decatur,
Yep.
Princeton, Gainesville.
Yeah.
Because I can't live here because I can't rub elbows with those things.
Texas, I believe that Texas is going to have to come to grips with this for regular citizens that earn the median income or 80% of the median income, single parent households, single income households. When property values keep increasing and increasing, their property taxes become exorbitant. They
Can't afford it.
cannot afford to
You
live.
can't retire without depleting your entire
can't
savings
even-
account.
you can't even
for
just-
taxes.
Forget about retirement. You can't even go work your normal job when you're paying $1,000 a month for property taxes. We're going to end up with an income tax in this state, or they're going to have to do something else, find another way to generate
It's
the revenue.
going to the school taxes, is where it's going. Most
Yeah.
of mine's school taxes.
Well, I'm
and
going to tell you this. I moved here 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. And I am going to step on some sacred cow's toes right here. High school football stadiums around this area are nicer than many small college stadiums. And that
I can't disagree.
that is coming
You're
from
trying to get me to
that
disagree
money.
with you.
That is coming from that money. And I don't even have a problem with it per se, but there's got to be other ways with sponsorships or something. You can't just keep putting it on the backs.
And they can. Denton shares a stadium.
I know.
They
Yeah.
have one stadium with all the schools.
Yeah, McKinney shares a stadium. I think they have
And
a
so
gorgeous stadium. Grapevine.
If you share stadiums, it makes sense. But I'm like, you're right. Like some of these schools have, and then it's like, oh, we're just gonna build another one. What are you gonna do with the old school we just paid for? Like, we'll just hand that down.
That's the Texas way. Look at the Arlington, the new Globe Life Stadium. They have a gorgeous stadium right across the way. As an Oakland A's fan, where they built that stadium in the 60s and it's probably never been retrofitted. It's ugly as anything. And Texas, let's just build it, build another one. But you can't keep doing this forever. Like I'm telling you, what's going on in the economy, and this is not a political thing, it's just a reality of what people's earnings are and what people, like Texans, not rich people from other states coming here. I'm talking about Texans that have been here for more than 10 years, working regular jobs.
I've been here my whole life. I can tell you, the middle class has more money than anybody. Collectively, we have all the money, but they're
Per
taxing.
capita? Yeah.
We're getting taxed to death over it.
Yeah.
And I've never really paid it. I mean, what, 5-10 years ago, it didn't bother me, but now it's starting to really hurt. And like $1,000 a month, I'm closer to about $700-800.
Still.
And
Still.
a month plus insurance. I mean, my escrow account on my mortgage is higher than my mortgage.
Yeah.
You see, that's.
Yep. You're in the end, you don't really own your home. You're leasing it from the county and from the homeowner's insurance.
And so by the time I'm 60, I can't lock that rate in until I'm 65, right?
No.
So at 65, what am I going to do?
Yeah, that's probably what will have to happen. There will have to be certain limitations with a ceiling so that when you buy a home, the initial tax rate, maybe it's fixed for a certain period of time, or it can only increase by a very, very modest amount. And I'm talking 1% or less per year.
Why are we getting...
And then it caps out once it's like 110%.
So it just doesn't make sense.
Or 10% higher than original.
8 or 10% a year.
That's insane.
Right?
It's insane.
But
my income isn't going up by that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I get the workers union. I don't know exactly what the auto manufacturers, the
union, UAW.
The UAW, what they get, but I look at it and say, I don't know exactly what they do, so it's hard to make a complete assessment or criticism. But you want 40% increase in your pay and a 4-day work week, and most people out here are struggling, and they're not getting the 3%. Teachers aren't getting their 3%.
But I don't think the answer isn't look at one union and go, oh my goodness, they're the issue.
But just using that as a thing is like, why is that happening when that 40% is just going to get passed on to you and me when we go buy?
At least you have a choice to buy the car or not.
Yes, we can't buy the car.
But when you but we're talking about owning property,
right?
Because you have to live somewhere. You're either going to pay your own property taxes, or your rent that you pay to your property management company or your landlord, that goes to their property taxes.
But if you are paying taxes, if your taxes are going up 8%. We're only getting 3%, but the auto workers union is getting 40%.
Good for them.
And the whole thing hurts.
Good for them. Well, if it gets too expensive, nobody will buy their cars. You'll just buy a car from somebody else.
But so at 8%, and I haven't had a raise in 3 years. Of course, you're incentivized. I'm incentivized, so it's a little different.
Well, we're commission only. That also means we have months or periods of months, like more than one month, where we make very, very little. We can make, it's so hard to budget, right? You can make so little. I can make so little.
You can make as much.
I can make so little that there are 2 months that'll go by and I'm like, wow, I didn't make even 60% of what I need to live. But that's my choice to be in this profession.
Yeah, and just you look at the percentages, and the standards for income increases is 3 to 4%, right?
Yeah.
That's the standard every year, like going across.
Well, but that's based on cost of living increase.
But the cost of living increase is
more than that.
It's 8%.
Yeah.
It's always been 8 to 10.
It's heading down now, but man, we had a bad run there for a year. Like,
A
anyway.
lot of people with part-time jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, the only
There's
thing,
a lot of people trying to start YouTube podcasts so they can make enough money to pay property taxes.
no kidding. So, on that note, they're saying that people are remote working more, not as much as when COVID, but now since they're moving and working remote,
Yeah.
they're spending less because they're not commuting. So there's 27% still working from home.
Okay.
And I work from home. You work from home. Doesn't mean we work from home. That's what I'm saying. I work
Yeah,
from
I know.
home.
I burn gas
but
like crazy.
I go places.
Right.
So my work is out, right? So it doesn't really still. I probably drive more working from home than I did not working from home.
Right. And driving to an office and sitting in an office.
Yeah. Because I wasn't doing anything. So, but they're saying, it's saving budget. And going, it doesn't really save us anything because now with the thing, I mean, the whole system is kind of cracking, right? It's like everything's kind of going up here and up there and whatever. So I don't know if there's an end in sight. I don't think elections are going to fix it.
No.
I think elections will
No,
help.
I think people hope.
fix.
This is the problem. People always hope that there's an answer in a person. So, they'll vote for somebody and that person knows that, so they'll promise it. Both sides will do this. That's why I tend to be more apolitical than anything. But the reality is the fix has to come from another source. And I think I'd be curious to see how many remote workers, how much of remote work is people just looking to upgrade their income. And they're like, if I'm going to upgrade my income, it'd be nice to do it from home.
Yeah.
And then also, there are people that do remote work, and then they'll do remote work, and then they'll get a part-time remote work job, and they don't have to commute, and they might be able to work 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 8 to 10 in their main job and an hour or two in their other job, and not have to get out of their seat.
Who wants to work 2 jobs? This life's not about working to death.
No, but you have to pay your bills.
You should have less bills.
Yeah. But is that the American dream is that what the American dream has, whatever that means? I know that's a loaded phrase, but does that mean that what we're all to hope for is no longer finding our way to own a home, to own our car, to provide for ourselves for retirement, but instead what we're trying to do is skimp, cut, so that we can live and not be in debt? Is that the answer now? That's what we're trying to do?
The answer is having experiences is much more important than having things.
Right, but that's your opinion. I agree with that opinion wholeheartedly, and I think a lot of people do, but there's a lot of people, you need basic things, right? You need a vehicle, you need transportation, we'll call it transportation. Public transportation here is terrible. You can't get from here to there easily.
No, you can't. I've tried.
Yeah, you can't, and it's not cheap either. It's also not cheap.
Right.
So, and then what
going
else?
back to bicycles, you can't get a bicycle for less than like $1,000.
And you need furniture. You need a place to live. You need a furniture. It doesn't mean you need to buy nice furniture. You could buy it on Facebook Marketplace, used. You're still going to furnish a house for the tune of probably at least a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
And that's mattresses and box springs on the floor.
Mattresses are a couple $1,000s.
There you go. There you go.
I know, because we just bought one.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap.
Table and chairs, silverware, towels.
I meant for that story to go down. He wanted that story to be a positive note, saying, hey, they're still building $1 million homes, but that doesn't really reflect what the masses are not.
Well,
that.
Here's what I think. Here's the positive spin, I think, if there is one. And there is. In North Texas, in North Dallas, Dallas-Fort Worth, I should say, actually the whole of Dallas-Fort Worth, from Waxahachie to Melissa, from Weatherford, I'll give it all the way to Weatherford to Rockwall. I think what you have is you still have a lot of people coming here because there is employment. The answer really is you're going to have to be nimble and willing to be flexible when it comes to employment and or educating or training yourself for those jobs. But it is still a local economy that has a lot more promise than other big cities that are just as expensive without the economic health.
So go rewind, and I'm not trying to compare these two, but if you rewind to 2008, 2009, I'm not saying that we're in the same economy as we were then, but I'm just saying then some businesses did better than others. A lot of people reinvented themselves in that time period and chose different career paths. I don't see a whole lot of career paths these days that are, I'm going to trade out this career I've done for 15 years and go to this one, and I have time for schooling and do this, right? I see a lot of people struggling in every industry, and everyone's talking about, oh, it's hard here, it's hard there, because the whole thing is kind of dumped, right? So like then you fast forward, like, what's the best way to make it better for you? Small business, entrepreneurship, say, kind of doing it on your own, right? Is that seems like to be more of the goal, right? That's the goal, is to be work like a self-employed. I have a brother that does well. He ships containers. People need storage, and he ships containers. He's not really been affected by that, but he went down this path of self-employment, entrepreneurship, and that's what he is. I have a brother that fabricates, but having the guts to step out, going from, we've all been conditioned to W2.
Well, you need some skills, and you need some skills. Like, you can't just go, oh, I'm going to fabricate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to do something in the medical field, but I can't, start jabbing people with hypodermic needles without the proper training.
In 4 years from now, you can start doing that. But
yeah,
right? You can start jabbing people with knives. I should just get into. Maybe I should just try my fight. I should try street fighting. Maybe.
Ugh, you're too old.
Yeah.
We could start an old man's fight club.
Yeah, let's do that.
Ugh,
Old man's fight club.
terrible.
I'd have to keep my regular job for the insurance.
For the health insurance.